What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in again. We are back here at Morbid Curiosities with another episode in our new season. My name is Mercedes Martinez. With me is my demon dog slash minor co-host here, Evie. Also with me is the awesome nefarious necromancer.
Nicholas Ewers. I was worried that you forgot about me for a second.
I know. I was like, what? She's like not expecting me to introduce her. So, yeah, no, I didn't forget about you. You're right in front of me.
It completely caught me off guard. I was like, I guess I don't host this podcast anymore with you.
No, she's just been literally running in and out of the room right now. And now she's just laying on the ground. But no, I was saving the best for last.
It's always a fun time with Evie.
Yeah, I still gotta post a picture of her for the people who don't know what this little demon looks like. That way they can see who our mini co-hosts. Wait, didn't we make her our designated mascot too already?
Yeah, she's officially the podcast mascot.
Got it. Oops. I gotta get on that. My bad, people.
Yeah, but I mean, she's joining us for a pretty good movie. Did you watch Final Destination 3 with Evie? How did she feel about it? Did she have any hot takes?
She was not pleased by it. She fell asleep throughout majority of it and then left me by myself. You know, if I'm watching a really creepy movie, I want her next to me just so I can have that added bit of protection there. Nah, she just fucking trails off without me and leaves me to my own devices. So if someone does break into our house, she's gonna leave me just hanging there. So I see how it is with this little guard dog I have.
My dog is the opposite, and listeners, sorry that we're like a dog-heavy podcast, especially if you're a cat fan out there. I don't mind cats too, but we own dogs. But
We do.
Ava, if I have the lights off and I'm watching a movie, she'll sit there and she'll just stare right at the TV like she understands what's happening, all the plot developments and all that. It's
Man, I wish
kinda
she
cute.
was like that. That is cute. I try to get her to watch cartoons or just anything. She just falls asleep. Damn, maybe this is my dog because I fall asleep with everything I turn on. That is embarrassing.
I mean, I basically said
Wow.
on the last episode, I fell asleep to Final Destination 2 like 4 times. That's like the movie I've dedicated the most time to like this entire month. Whereas the one we're talking about today, I thankfully didn't fall asleep during it. I was able to watch in one clean sitting. I got some like decent notes out of it. It was pretty smooth. I got in and out. I didn't get trapped in this battle with this movie like I did the last one.
I dig it. I dig it. This one I was kind of looking forward to just because it obviously takes place in a theme park. So it reminds me of Six Flags. And I have not been there in years. So watching this just brought me back to my golden days when I would go and have a good time and, not die on a roller coaster.
I was actually at Six Flags last year. I have a video of it. If I remember, I'll post it on the Instagram when this episode drops, maybe with
Good.
whatever the Final Destination score is over it. I have a shirt though. I don't know if you've seen me wear it when we've recorded, but it's a blue shirt, Batman's on it in a pink bat suit, and it says fabulous on it.
I feel
That's
like
a
I've
Six
seen
Flags shirt.
it. That's cute. I love it.
It's one of my favorite shirts. I get a lot of compliments on it too. I dig it.
Of
It's
course
pretty
you do.
awesome.
It's Batman.
And no one knows it's from Six Flags.
I wouldn't have even guessed that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but so I mean, you got any crazy roller coaster stories before we get into like full spoilers and opinions on Final Destination?
So I have 2, and they both took place on the same day, and they're just embarrassing in my opinion. So, if people can't tell by now with all the shit that I give you, I'm short. I'm like 5 foot and that's it. And I stopped growing in the 7th grade, I believe. Everyone else towers me essentially. But I don't know how old I was, maybe like 12 or something. My brother and sister, they were going to Six Flags and my parents made them take me, and this was the year that I actually got those Heelys shoes, the one with the little buttons, you press the buttons and wheels come out to make them rollerblades. Do you remember those?
Damn. Yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah, I remember those. I never owned a pair, but I remember those. I was envious of them. They looked like they were really fun and convenient.
Well, the thing was, I had those pairs. They were kind of like a generic pair, but I had them and I felt like a fucking baller. And I wore those because they were like, "You might be too short to get on the rides." So they gave me like an extra fucking foot on my height. So any ride we were going on, the people working it were like, "Hey, we gotta check your height," and I barely made it on each and every ride. They're like, "Alright, you can go." It just got to the point that I started going up to the thing myself, that way they could measure me, but I always made it. It was just ridiculous because those shoes fucking hurt. They were not comfortable at all. When you're walking, you could feel the wheels underneath them, so my foot was not level at all. It hurt like a fucking bitch.
And you were 30 years old when the story happened?
Yes, clearly, I was 30 years old.
Yeah, this was just a couple years
The
ago.
yeah, this was last year. But, it was funny because later on my brother and I, we were getting annoyed because my sister didn't wanna go on any more rides, and she went into this one gift shop, and he was like, "Come on, Mercedes, let's go." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." And we just up and dipped off to Cartoon Network Land, and we got on this tiny rocket ship roller coaster. Mind you, we had found one of those big refillable cups in the grass somewhere, so we stole it, we rinsed it out, at the water fountain, and then that's how we were getting our drinks. They didn't have, like, cubbies to store any of our items on that ride, of course, because it was a little kid ride, but me and him got in there, and the ride was, like, flipping on its side, and I thought he was falling out, and he even told me, like, "Man, I almost fell out of the fucking ride because the cup was falling, and I didn't wanna drop the cup."
Wow.
I'm like, "Oh my god, you could have died on there." So, yeah, those are my 2 stories involving roller coasters.
That's wild. I think at that point you let go of the cup. That's actually the closest I've ever heard to someone having a Final Destination-esque situation happen on a roller coaster.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of money that day, and we did not wanna give up that cup. We were, like, downing pop all damn day. That is what we lived on growing up, so, yeah, I accept the fact that he was willing to give his life for that fucking cup.
Oh my god. I don't have any stories that crazy. My first roller coaster was in, like, 2013, maybe 2014. I rode the Goliath, I wanna say, whatever year that, like, opened up at Six Flags, I that was my first roller coaster I went on. And the only other story I have from Six Flags is, I was on a log ride with a bunch of friends. I didn't, like, know this was gonna happen, I wasn't prepared, luckily, it was at the end of the day, but we got splashed with water, and I was the only one in our group. I just took all of the water, and I got soaked from head to toe and was just
Damn.
drenched the whole rest of the day up until I got home, and it was awful.
Were your shoes wet too?
Yeah, everything was wet. It was the worst.
No. That's the
Yeah.
worst thing ever. Wet shoes and wet socks.
That was pretty close to a Final Destination 3 type situation, I'd say.
Yeah, you almost drowned. So, we got some stories regarding Six Flags. We just need to go back to Six Flags. Like, anyone else, like, has anyone else gone to Six Flags recently? Let us know in the comments on our Instagram page, even on Spotify here with this episode.
Or more importantly, has anyone ever almost died or had a near death experience on a roller coaster too?
Yeah.
Write in about that. That'd be interesting to hear.
Yeah, definitely. Let us know. But without further ado, um,
Yeah.
spoilers ahead, guys, for Final Destination 3.
Yeah. I like how climactic that was. Do you want to
Very.
give your your thoughts first on Final Destination 3?
So, initial thoughts with my dog in the background. Again, going into this, I hadn't seen it and I don't even remember the last time I watched it, but I had a feeling I was going to be a little more on board with it compared to the first two, which was funny because, again, back in the day, I liked the second one more, but I think that's just because I like the two main characters. But watching this one, I had a good time with it, but it's still like leaving me feel incomplete on a lot of levels. But it's still a good time. You feel a sense of like dread and moodiness throughout the entire film. So I don't know, like they kind of add to that with like the vibrant colors that they show in each scene compared to the second one. A lot of the colors, even the first one, like all the picture frames, they looked very like blue and dull, I would say. But I don't know. I just like how we're back in like a teenager world in this one. Even though majority of the characters I hate, some of them work for me. But what did you think of the film?
So yeah, this movie did kind of have some familiarities with the first Final Destination. It was kind of reminiscent of that. It's the return of James Wong directing it and Glenn Morgan producing it. So I thought that was pretty cool. Honestly, I thought they did a better job on this one than the first one. You and I are kind of having a bit of the opposite reaction so far with this series, but I'm kind of liking them more as each movie goes on. So far, I'd say this might be my favorite. It's really hard to tell because there's good things you could pick out of each movie that are strong. And that being said, I would still put number one at the bottom out of the ones we've watched. But the first one has some of the funniest moments. It has some great characters. The second one, I mean, I don't know if I said that, but it has some of the funniest moments, uh, some great characters. It has the best intro and maybe one of the best sequences in the whole franchise. But this one, you pointed to the moodiness. I really enjoyed that about this one. I liked how moody it was. There's a mournfulness to this. It kind of is about survivor's guilt in a way that the others weren't about. And an issue that I pointed out with the other two movies is no one really ever mourns the death of anybody in these things. They just kind of are on to the next adventure, the next person they have to try to save and accidentally kill in some way. But this one, the two characters who are left surviving from the initial accident are grieving, and I really did enjoy that about this. This movie stars Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I'm a big fan of hers. I had no idea she was in this. I realized when I put this on, I think I had never seen this movie in its entirety, but I'm a big fan of hers ever since her days in Sky High. But more so 10 Cloverfield Lane. That movie's great. That's when she really came on my radar. So that was an awesome surprise. And I thought the chemistry between her and Ryan Merriman, I think that's how you pronounce his name, their characters Wendy and Kevin really worked for me. So right now out of the 3 we've watched, I'm walking out of this one with it being my favorite.
Yeah, so again, spoilers ahead. So we have a senior class on their, graduating class trip. They're at a theme park. All of them are having fun. You have like the four friends, but two of them are couples. You see the two guys are friends. So again, you have Ryan Merriman, who plays Kevin, and then you have Jesse Moss playing Jason. He's actually not a dick in this film. He's been a dick in a lot of other films that I've seen with him in it, like Ginger Snaps, and I forgot this other one that I had just watched him into. But it's cool because he plays, not to sound mean, he kind of plays like a nobody in here. He's just like, her nice boyfriend in here, Wendy's boyfriend. But yeah, so they're all having fun. They're on these rides. Wendy is starting to pick up a little bit of the wind blowing, the random little signs she's seeing She sees, like, on the first ride that the 3 of them are on while she's taking a picture. I think it was called High Dive, but in the camera with her photo, it said High Die. The V was cut off her, the light wasn't working. So she's getting all these little signs. You meet all the other, like, side characters in here. They don't seem too great. You don't know too many of them, but, it does lead you up to the main event in the opening scene. It was called what, like Devil's Lair or something, or Devil's Flight. And what a cool looking fucking roller coaster. You got a big ass devil like in the front, voiced by Tony Todd. I would have just loved to have taken a picture with that thing. That thing was fucking
Y
huge.
I wanna point out the Tony Todd thing. So, is this Tony Todd's character from the other movies? Did he pick up a job where he voices carnival rides, or is this just unrelated and this is a Tony Todd voiceover cameo? Because I would like to know, and it would have been cool to see Tony Todd in this movie. I actually noticed that. I was like, by the end, I was like, oh, we didn't get Tony Todd at all.
Yeah, that bugged me because the first time I watched this, I didn't realize it until the end. Like, oh shit, where the fuck was Tony Todd at? And then rewatching it a different time, I learned that was his voice. And then he also does a voiceover in the end as well. But that was disappointing. However, what a cool way to have him in there still, like included in the film, to be the fucking devil for that ride. Really fucking crazy.
Yeah, maybe narratively they couldn't justify having him come in for a third group of people and explain this shit. And this movie also doesn't spend a whole lot of time going on and litigating like the death's design thing that the last two movies were doing. So maybe they were like, okay, we don't need to explain. People get it. The only setup we'll really have these characters do is they discover the order thing. That's something that these movies consistently do, is these characters have to rediscover that they're going to be killed in the order they were killed in the premonition.
And I really appreciate that about this film because it got very tired, hearing the narrative of like death design, and it's like, okay, we get it already. For them to just kind of like like zone in on like, all right, like we all died in my premonition, like who's next to die, like that's all we need. I just thought it was funny that yeah, they have an emo couple in here, and I fucking love them. they're just they're just funny. You see them trying so hard in a way, but I think the funnier thing was, watching reviews on this movie, uh CZ's World, Things You Miss. He cracked me up because it's the couple is named Ian and Aaron, but he named them NCR and Misery Business. And I thought that was so fucking epic. I love that name for them.
That is about the right time period. I guess they would be listening to probably like My Chemical Romance. I am kind of surprised that you liked these characters. I found them to be insufferable and I relished in their deaths. I especially found Aaron's to
What?
be a little funny. Yeah, I they were my two least
Wow.
favorite characters. Well, like, and Aaron had a satisfying death too because hers was kind of, so she falls onto like this nail gun and it shoots into her head, but then like the dead weight of her head keeps like depressing the trigger of the nail gun and it keeps causing it to shoot back until it's unloaded. And I thought that was pretty comical. I'm like, yeah, get these characters out of here. And when Ian was still alive, I was like, I rewound it twice because I was like, wait, did I miss something? They must have killed this character. And I was pretty disappointed to see that he makes it pretty far into the end, even though you don't see a lot of him after that.
I actually like them. Like they I won't lie. Again, this is like where it was making me laugh just because of how hard they were having to try to, like, be the little moody emo characters because even when they were on the roller coaster, everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, they're really hyped up and everything." They're just kinda sitting there looking around, and then even when they make the initial drop, like, you see Aaron getting a little, like, into it, and Ian's still just like, "Whatever." And then once, catastrophe starts and everyone's fucking dying all over the place, that's when you see some damn emotion come from them. So, yeah, but I didn't want them to die. I actually wanted them to live. I like them. Maybe just because I like their clothes, but I like them a lot. There were some other characters in here that I couldn't fucking stand, but we'll get there. We'll get there. But how did you like the kill scene of the roller coaster, like, everyone dying in that scene?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was better than the plane crash in the first one, but it didn't hold a candle to how good the intro in number 2 was. I still liked it though. James Wong's directing style doesn't fully work for me, especially at the intro. He really likes the shaky camera, and it made the intro scene kind of hard to figure out what was happening. I have talked about geography in certain movies. That's something that I apparently is like pretty important to me when I'm watching something, but I was like losing track to like, wait, who's behind who and who was where in this? But that's been the case with most of these movies. I feel like they haven't done a great job conveying the actual order everybody was seated in and the order they died in, especially the first one because they change it, the dying order halfway through the movie, and then the second one, death decides to move backwards, so they just keep fucking with it and making it harder to keep track of. But the directing style aside, and there are some cool tricks that James Wong did that I heard about, and I'd like to watch behind the scenes to really see how it was implemented, but I guess they use shooting into mirrors to get different angles of the roller coaster that they needed and couldn't get because of how it was built. But they had to like really improvise to get certain shots, and I appreciated that. But overall, the complaints I had aside, I thought it was a really effective and awesome sequence, and I hadn't really ever thought about Destination 3 before I got on a roller coaster, but I think maybe next time I'm on, I might start having a slight bit more paranoia, but I don't think it'll ruin any roller coaster experience, though.
So I love the fact that they brought us to a theme park here because I feel like that would be able to, scare a lot of people because, teenagers go to theme parks. Younger kids go because they're anxious to get on rides like short little me did.
Well,
And then
is this a theme park or it looked like a county fair with like an insane roller coaster that should not be at a county fair.
well, that's why I'm considering it a theme park because ain't no way in hell that they have this big ass roller coaster just at like a tiny fair.
Yeah, but teenagers were still manning it. I was just like, "Oh my god." Like I wouldn't why are there loops on a roller coaster at this fair? That was actually a thought that I had at one point. I was like, "This is insane."
Mhm. Yeah, so I'm just calling it a theme park, but yeah, it's like so many of the population go to theme parks and they want to have that fun. You have everyone who's fucking terrified to go on the rides, but they still go. And now we have this fear. Yes, nothing holds a candle to part two, but this one is like right behind it because yeah, you have absolutely no control once you are up in the air about to make this however many foot high drop, maybe to your death, who knows. But I liked it. The thing that I didn't like was how it was prevented. So you have like this jock, Luis Romero. He when Wendy starts freaking out, like, oh, the roller coaster is gonna fuck up or whatever. He gets off the ride too, and he just starts bitching about her, like, "Oh, shut her up, Kevin." He's like really going in on it, and it's like, You were still on the ride though. You were guaranteed to go on the ride if your dumbass didn't get off. This literally has nothing to do with you. So, in my opinion, this fucker was on steroids to be that angry about her freaking out when they literally would have probably just had her and Kevin get off the ride and not bothered with anybody else. But no, he had to get involved all stupidly.
Yeah, you'd think someone having a full-on freak out before a roller coaster starting would be a more common thing. I was like, "Oh, this seems pretty believable." I could see somebody like maybe like once a day at a theme park having a freak out about getting on a roller coaster with how many people they shove on those things and within a day, it seems like the chances would be pretty high. And I agree with you. They definitely overreact to her freak out. They're like, "What's your address? We're gonna take you home." It's like, guys, chill out. Just escort her off the ride.
Yeah, just like let her calm down. No one even, like, gave her that moment. They were all just like, "Alright, we're gonna have your mom come and get you." Like, what? Just calm her ass down. Like, you guys are jumping the gun trying to, like, get rid of her, and then they don't even have any extra time to tend to her because that's when everything starts fucking up on the roller coaster. But after that scene, you do feel the morning that her and Kevin are going through, mainly her, because, she's in school, it's a rainy day, she's just getting her diploma, and she sees like the little like kind of altar memorial for the few students that did pass away on the roller coaster. And one is her best friend and the other one was Jason, her boyfriend. So I like the fact that they brought it back to a teenage setting again, because they had two couples to focus on in the beginning. So when you're a teenager, your hormones are all over the place. Everything is the end of the world, and the person you are with is like your soulmate at the time. So the fact that both of these characters had that one person ripped from them, it kind of made it more depressing to watch. And then the rain did not help. So that scene genuinely made me sad.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty effective, and that's when I was fully hooked into the movie. There was a sadness to that moment, and the rain too just added to it. It felt very TV, kind of like how I was talking about on the first one, just a real like the colors are very washed out throughout this movie, but it worked more in this one than the first one for me. Real quick before we get too far away from the roller coaster, I want to just shout out one more moment from it. That dangling, that was super effective and worked on me. I would be terrified. Like that is the fear, the roller coaster stopping when you're upside down and then you end
Yeah.
up dangling. That's the scariest part about all of this, I think. But you were talking about the intro and how they get like right to the moodiness of it all. I do like how what's accomplished in that intro also is it lays out a couple more of the characters, like the two girls that introduce themselves to Wendy and are like, "Hey, I don't know if they invite her to a party or whatever." And Wendy's not interested. It does a good job of setting up those characters and making I guess making you want to see them die. I felt like they got a little too much more than they deserved. But then I also like that they streamlined the whole Flight 180 thing too. Like the character does all of the research off screen and we don't have to go through all of that again. We don't have to go through that and then later in the movie they skip the interview with detective stuff. That all happens off screen and she's like I told them everything and they thought I was crazy. I was like thank God this movie's not doing this for a third time.
Yeah, the 2 girls, Ashley and Ashlyn, were they were feeling bad for Wendy and how, like, she was coping with everything. They actually invited her to go to go tanning with them. Guys, don't do tanning. There's self-tan out there. Don't go tan out in the sun either. It is not good for your skin. I am a licensed esthetician. Please don't fucking do that to your skin. Anyway, sorry. But yeah,
I
they
won't use a tanning bed after watching this movie either. I mean, I don't think I ever intended to, and this didn't really, like, scare me in a crazy way where I'm like, "Oh my god, this'll happen to me." But just in general, I was like, "This just doesn't seem safe to do."
no, I've worked in gyms that had tanning beds in them, and they smell fucking disgusting after being used because, 1, I hate the way suntan lotion smells, and then with, the lights in there, it just it does not smell good. It's not good for you. Guys, do not fucking do it. I will come for you if you do it. I swear. Anyway, before I go off on a whole tangent with that again. Yeah, I was happy that they didn't like focus on like, oh yeah, let's watch everyone do all their research again. I kind of didn't even like the fact that Kevin brought it up to Wendy like, "Oh yeah, I did a little research and this one, class, the same shit happened when they were on a plane, blah blah blah." It's like, okay, even with that was a little too much. You would think, I don't know, in this type of world, they would have known about that, but I don't know. I was just happy that, yes, they didn't go through, like, all the interviews, like, any type of police work. You see, like, the detectives who do question Wendy and Kevin later on, they kinda, like, eye them suspiciously, but they don't show them, like, fucking tailing them throughout the film, which I liked because then that would have been, like, a whole cat and mouse chase that we did not need in here.
Yeah, you mentioned them not being aware of Flight 180 at all. That is a pretty good point. I mean, the beginning of the last movie, someone was on, I assume, national television. It looked like a popular talk show discussing the events of that and Death's design. So it seems like it's widely known information, but these characters act like they dug up something that's been buried by the world.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, going into the 2 tanning bed deaths, like, oh god.
Yeah, I had seen this before.
Yeah, and it's like they have those big ass Slurpee cups. I can guarantee 2 women like that, 2 teenage girls like that would not be fucking drinking those, especially on their way to go tan.
The
Like,
thing to keep in mind throughout this scene, and you said it, Mercedes, that you use the word teenage to describe these two girls. And that's what makes this scene kind of like almost completely unappealing to me. I mean, before I get into it, what were your thoughts on the tanning bed scene?
no, let me hear your thoughts. I need to hear yours, not just how you opened up with that.
I just thought like they're doing the nudity thing just because what horror movies like have nudity. It seems like it's such a weird like late 90s, early 2000s type of thing to just have nudity because it's a horror movie, and I know yeah, that's how it's been for a while, but it really seemed apparent in this time period where it was just like, oh, horror movies, that's what you do. You just have nudity in it. You see naked women, and it felt really kind of tasteless to me, and the fact that they're, like you said, teenage girls made it really weird. The song they picked, the roller coaster song, was completely annoying, and, like, my girlfriend pointed that out too, but they only play that song because the beginning, there's a roller coaster. I don't know. It's a well done sequence. It's a very famous sequence, but it just felt really gross to me.
This scene was ridiculous to me just because, yes, like you said, these girls are teenagers and they're half naked in these tanning beds. Yes, because, they do typically include nudity in horror films, but it doesn't help that they have these 2 characters being like the ditzy naked girls. And it just makes the scene that much worse. And I don't know, I guess, like, that's just kind of adding to the intensity of the scene, like, okay, they're naked and they're on, like, these hot ass, tanning beds and they're burning alive. Okay, well, we could have gotten that with them just being, you know, in a bikini or whatever. Like in that, I think the movie I Still Know What You Did Last Summer did it better. You know, Jennifer Love Hewitt, she was going in a tanning bed, but she just had on a bikini. And that was their nudity scene, essentially.
Yeah, and the one girl even says, like, her boyfriend or whatever is into to tan lines, so they have a line in there that would justify them wearing bikinis.
Exactly, but they had to have this scene in here, like, it could have been directed in a different way that would have been more tasteful, but, I mean, we got, like, the cool scene. I forgot the proper term for it, but you see the 2 tanning beds, like, on fire, and then it cuts to their 2, caskets at their funeral. I forgot what it's
Yeah.
called.
That's a great shot, though. I'll get that's like a shot that you notice and you're like, "Okay, that was very thought out and executed well for just how small it is too."
Side note, I really like their caskets. Like, they had some designs on them. Like, one of them looked almost glittery, and the other one, I think, had like a floral print on it or something. But I thought that was cool because it's like, okay, their families, their loved ones, they got a casket to, represent their personalities. Like, I don't know, like I wouldn't have that as my casket. My casket is going to be full on black, maybe a coffin even. But I don't know, I just like that they had that little detail in here.
But right after that, I think we're right into the drive-through scene, I wanna say, which I think I didn't even I've never seen that before, and I thought that was actually, like, pretty pulse pounding, and you can take that and put that on the DVD cover and quote me on that. It was exciting, like, you have the setup of the, shitty people behind them waiting to get food while they're taking too long at the drive-through. This garbage truck is backing up to their car, which I found pretty believable. I used to do maintenance at McDonald's, and our garage where they took the garbage out was right next to the drive-through. So I was like, this could have happened at the McDonald's that I worked at, this same scenario. And so I thought the setup was great, and I was just like, "Oh my god," like, how like, not only was it believable, but I was just trying to think, "How are they gonna get out of this?" And by the end of it, some stranger just gets, like, a motor blade to the back of the head, they get their head grinded up, and I was like, oh my god, that's a fucking move to do. You kill a stranger in the middle of your Final Destination movie? How is that going to affect things? But then it turns out it's Frankie, and I thought that was pretty cool that they accidentally get Frankie killed while avoiding their own death. It shows like, death still has a sense of humor throughout all of these movies.
And one of the most fucked up pieces of this scene was it was when Wendy and Kevin were like talking about the photos while they were in the drive-through, and Kevin mentions like, "Wait, SpongeBob lives underwater." And Wendy has the fucking nerve to say, "It's so sad that you know that." Everyone fucking
Yeah.
knows that.
Everybody would know that. It's 2006. SpongeBob was maybe at its peak of popularity. Of course, this high schooler would have some frame of reference for SpongeBob. He would know SpongeBob lives underwater, I feel like. That's pretty basic information. Like, my parents knew that.
Exactly. My dad, he was in the Air Force, and whenever he would go to his base in Wisconsin, we would go with him. But one day me and him were driving and he was just laughing and telling me like, "Man, one of the guys that I worked with over here, they were saying like, yeah, I got to get up every morning at this time so I could watch SpongeBob." And my dad was just laughing at him like, "Are you serious? My 9-year-old watches that." Like, I was like, "Well, he has good taste. SpongeBob is funny."
Yeah, my dad, he's retired now, but he was a fireman for most of my life. And the firemen, they would watch SpongeBob too at the firehouse. I don't know why, but someone threw on SpongeBob. One of them even had, this might be a little too personal, but I'm not dropping names. One of them even had SpongeBob sheets on their bed at the firehouse.
You're lying.
I swear to God.
Wow. I was gonna say, and you're over here giving me shit for talking about my nephew having SpongeBob pajamas on, but I did point out who he was. You at least didn't drop a name. And he was a kid. He was still a baby, so it doesn't matter.
That almost matters more, actually, I'd say. If
I don't
someone
even
was
know
just
if he
dropping
listens.
baby shit that I did on a podcast, I would be like, "Why what are you doing? Why are you talking about this on a podcast?"
Cause he won't listen to it. Like, I think he started to, but he's in his own world. But love him to death, but I had to throw it on here.
Love him to death, just not that supportive.
I supported him in him loving
No,
SpongeBob.
I was saying he's not supporting you. If he doesn't listen,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and he's never gonna hear this, so we could say whatever about him. Drop another baby story about him while you're at it.
Ooh, I should. I was gonna wait for it to be for when we watched, or when we covered Halloween, but it did come to my attention, and I feel like I told you this story too, but no, he has an older brother, and they were a year apart, but my mom and brother, they would let them watch Halloween when they were toddlers all the time, so, they'd be playing with their toys, humming the Halloween theme song all the time. They knew Michael Myers front to back and everything. But I guess one day my mom was just at home by herself, but she was watching them and she was on the computer downstairs, but she didn't hear them. She just heard them kind of running around upstairs, but they were quiet. And she's like, that's not good. And then she just hears, the youngest one, my nephew, he was telling his brother, I should probably give them fake names. Let's call them Tad and Chad. I don't know why I keep bringing up the AD names. I'm sorry. But the youngest one, Tad, he was saying, like, it's okay, Chad. It's okay. And my mom's like, what the hell are you saying? And she kept hearing that, and then all of a sudden she heard like a loud bang. And then the older one, Chad, ran up to her and he's crying and his head's kind of bleeding. And she's like, what the hell happened? And then she looked over and seen Tad on the stairs and he had a little butter knife in his hand. And he's like slowly putting it down. And he's like, it's okay,
Oh,
grandma. It's
man.
okay. So, yeah, they were little terrorists.
Oh, wow, that's what Scream is about.
Yeah, exactly. These little
Wow.
killers, they learned young.
Don't watch horror movie, kids. If you can, we used to give lessons on this podcast, and if you can take anything away from this episode, it's don't watch horror movies. They're a bad influence on you.
Watch them with your parents because they'll filter it for you, and then you'll be okay.
Maybe.
My nephews, they were just little demons, and they got away with murder, essentially, literally, in this point, and, yeah, they could still do no wrong in my eyes, so, yeah. But anyway, that was my little side tangent. Back to the film here. I forgot which part we were on.
Did you have any thoughts on, or final thoughts on that drive-through sequence before we hop on over to Lewis's death? This movie is just a series of set pieces, so
Yeah.
it's easy to just hop around.
What the hell was that?
Uh, so is in the room and she was messing with the lights, so she
Oh my
turned
god,
them off.
that scared me.
You can turn you can turn them off if you want. Oh, if you wanted to, you can turn them off. I can podcast in the dark.
That scared me.
I was like,
Oh,
"You're
that
gonna
was
think
great.
that my power went out." Yeah.
I know. I was like, "Damn, he doesn't seem concerned that his power just went out."
Yeah, you're like, "Oh, Nick didn't react at all to everything around him going dark."
I know, if that happened to me, I would've, like, freaked the fuck out, like, "Nope, not dealing
No,
with
I was just like,
that."
"This is what I'm doing now.
Oh, that
I'm
is
recording in the
hilarious.
dark."
That is
Yeah.
hilarious. Um, but yeah, so with the drive-through scene, that was actually yeah, a little heart pounding just because, they're just one, they don't know what the fuck they want. They're just like sitting there trying to figure that out. And then they start looking around and then they notice like the truck behind them coming like full, well, not necessarily full speed, but it's just rolling down uncontrollably on the hill. And the couple behind them isn't paying attention, even though they're being assholes trying to hurry up and get their food. And then the person in front of them is being like a dick, like just flicking them off because he thinks they're just rushing him, and then they fucking break the windshield so they can escape. And then, yeah, the semi truck that was backing into them, like, fucking slices open this guy's head. And you're like, oh shit, a random pedestrian just died. Like, what the fuck happened? Or bystander, whatever. And yeah, then you find out it's the guy that was next on death's list. The guy, crap.
Frankie.
What's Frankie? I kept wanting to say Randy, probably because his last name is Cheeks in here, and I'm thinking Randy Meeks.
Yeah.
That's such
That
a
that
weird
is
name.
very close, actually. It feels like these movies are kind of lifting from Scream, even though that's a coincidence. I'm gonna just say they were trying to do Randy Meeks. He had a Randy Meeks kind of vibe to him, except this character sucked, and I'm glad that he really got no real service when he died.
Yeah, he had a funny death. It was just like, damn, okay, we were getting like kind of like, I would say, like, cheesy deaths in the other films. Some of them were a little crazier than others, but this one really freaked me out. Like, holy shit, like, this fucking crazy accident just happened with a semi truck, and the little that this truck did created so much havoc that it crushed Kevin's truck and then also fucking damn near decapitated this guy. Yeah, that was pretty bloody. It was like, damn, all right, this is what we're going for in this movie.
Yeah, I think in a world where Saw now exists and is playing on the big screen, you're able to ramp up the intensity and show, like, really live in gore like that for a little bit. Are you cool with hopping over to Lewis's death?
Yeah, let's go.
Lewis, played by Texas Battle. I just wanted to shout out that name
Right?
because I mean, that's a pretty awesome name. Even, yeah, shout out to Texas Battle. I don't know if I've seen him in too many things, but you got a good name. But on the other hand, his character Lewis, I didn't care for his character at all, and I thought the way he died was kind of annoying. That whole scene was annoying, and you could see his death coming from a mile away. They do have a twist on it at the end. They throw you a curveball where it's like, oh, wait, he didn't die in this moment. How is he going to? Oh, it was the wires being cut, and these two weights come and smash his head. It was okay, I'd say. I didn't really care for his death or that whole sequence at all that much. I found it kind of annoying.
I did too. It's like, okay, I don't know what goes on in an athlete's gym. I have gone to gyms, you've gone to gyms, so like that you have like the stereotypical like meatheads out there who fucking do like one set of something and they're like, all right, good ass pump, and they're just like looking at themselves in the mirror, very obnoxious. That is what's oozing from this fucking gym. And he is very arrogant, like, death can't touch me, I control my fate, my destiny, whatever. And you just like hear everyone else like, grunting, going loud as fuck. Again, I don't know if that's actually how it is in like a college setting gym. I wouldn't be surprised if it is, but it's also like, yeah, I was getting kind of annoyed in this part. And then his death scene, meh, it was whatever to me. Like his head got like crushed by these weights. Like that was a little too over the top for my liking.
I will say I did athletic conditioning for a little bit in high school, and I had to go to like after school, like the football training workouts was a part of that, and the gym was about this level of douchey. It
Oh
wasn't
my
quite
god.
there. There wasn't a bear people were punching till they got bloody and yelling like "fuck the Bruins" or whatever the hell it was. But yeah, it was like a couple notches below that, but there was still the same vibe of douchery there.
I'm not surprised that yeah, I'm not surprised at all. This is why that's one of the few times that I'm happy that I am a female and I don't have to deal with that. Like, ew, that no. Next scene, I that guy, like, I love the guy's
Yeah.
actual name. His actual name is great. He does a great job of being a fucking douchebag, but I hated this scene.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, then we're on to the warehouse with your two favorite characters. And
Oh yeah,
now that
yeah.
we've talked about a couple of the more like less likable characters, I think as we're coming back around to this, I like Ian and Aaron slightly more compared
See?
to Lewis and Frankie, but man, we are really kind of pointing at how many dislikable characters are in this movie that I didn't quite realize. Almost everybody who like almost everybody besides our main two leads sucks.
Yeah, because even at first, Wendy and Kevin, it's not like I didn't like their characters. I was just like, I don't think I'm gonna like have an emotional attachment to either one of them. But, just going through all of the other characters in here, it's like, damn, it's hard not to not like these 2 just because of how shitty everyone else is. And with Ian and Aaron, like, yeah, you could see they're a bit of an asshole too, like, both of them. You have, like, Ian fucking shooting at these birds with a nail gun because his boss wants him to get rid of that problem. What the fuck are you gonna shoot at these birds for? They didn't do shit. Well, technically they're in the warehouse, but like, come on, there's other ways. Don't shoot the birds.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty insane. And kind of unnecessary. I know pigeons are annoying, but could I don't know if I have it in me to start picking them off with a nail gun in that kind of way. I did find it funny that these two did they find love at this night shift warehouse, or were they already dating and they found a job they could work at together?
That's what I was contemplating too. Like, they had to have been working there and then they met each other. They probably got stuck on this shitty night shift and they were both like, talking like their deep conversations about their hate towards the world and probably their job and everything, their boss. So they probably developed their love from their hate from their job.
I feel like I'm starting to realize why you like these characters a bit more now.
Why? Please elaborate.
Just when you were talking about their hate towards the world, I was like, okay, Mercedes could connect with these people in some type of way. I get it now.
It's true. Like whenever I talk to someone and I don't know how we get about this subject in general, but I'm just like, I fucking hate people. Like, I hate majority of people. So if I actually can say that I like you, you better feel damn honored by it because I literally fucking hate everybody. Like you. I like you. I like a few other people, but everyone else can go fucking suck it. Not our listeners, of course, because you guys are on our same wavelength, but a lot of other people, I feel like our listeners would probably be on the same level as us with like the people we are cool with and maybe not cool with.
Did you hear that, listeners? Mercedes told you to go fuck yourselves.
I did not, you bastard. Oh my god, you're a douche.
So you think Aaron should have survived and lived a long and prosperous life? That's where how you think?
Yeah, her and Ian should have lived because Even the dark characters need to find love, and they had love too. I was so sad when they died. But you know what's funny too was so I was watching the kill count earlier, and they were going over this film, and they were talking about how Ian, he was being a dick in here, and after listening to Wendy and Kevin talk, he was like, "Okay, what if the last person in line, like, makes the decision to kill themselves? Like, oh, that should save damn near everyone else that was supposed to die, and it would skip all of them. So, like, any takers?" Basically, like, telling Wendy, like, "Hey, go kill yourself." Fucked up thing to say, but, like, in the kill count, James A. Janice mentioned, like, that didn't really work in the second one when Kimberly thought, "Oh, let me go kill myself and I'll save everyone." It didn't work out. The one random kid at the end and ended up getting sliced open, but or, like,
Well,
exploded,
Kim
but yeah.
survives though. Kim does get away with it though.
But yeah, she technically dies, but then they had to, bring her back to life, so they thought like, "Okay, we reset it." So that idea on its own, they're like, "It didn't really work, so why would you try to, like, bring it up again in this film?"
Because even though it didn't save that other kid, Kim goes on to like live though. She doesn't die like off screen in any way. She's I think the only survivor in the whole series as far as I know.
People don't count it, but I think there was like a bonus feature on the DVD where you can see like different deaths or something. And I guess they had one on there that showed like a news clip of her and the officer getting killed by like a wood chipper or something. So to me, they ended up dying.
But so spoilers for Final Destination Bloodlines. Uh they say it in that movie that she survives.
Oh shit, they did. I don't remember.
Tony Todd says it. He was like, there's one person who survived this by killing herself, and she made it out of death's cycle.
But see, then he even admitted that she killed herself.
But she died and then came back to life. Like, he was saying that
Yeah.
but she broke through the cycle, though. Like, she ultimately, like, death didn't get her.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. I completely forgot about that. We gotta watch Bloodlines again. We need to hurry up and get to that film. I completely forgot
Should we
about
just
that.
skip the next two and go straight to Bloodlines?
Yeah, let's do it. Guys, what do
No,
you think?
I'm I'm kidding. We
No,
gotta
I am
talk
too.
about five at least.
No, I'm
um,
excited to see which one is the sucky one.
But to reel us back in a little bit, I did find it kind of surprising that Aaron or Ian became a philosopher all of a sudden, and he's like, "Wait a minute! If every cause and effect has a cause and effect, and this and that, then you should kill yourself." And I was like, "This guy seems like he would be like Death's friend or something like that, or he would welcome the idea of death or be like, oh, I would love it to be a part of Death's design or something." But no, he really went a different route.
And that's a big reason why I like them because they were just like pretty much dead on with like how fucking emo teenagers would act and how they would talk. Like in the beginning, Aaron said something about explaining what the roller coaster is. I don't fucking remember what it was, but it was just like, okay, relax. A girl's afraid to get on the roller coaster. Whatever the hell you just said is not helping her. And then you have Ian over here being an asshole, like, breaking down everything that they're saying, killing pigeons, and then telling her, just go kill yourself. Like, that would make the world a better place here. I just really liked their characters, even though they were a bit annoying. I don't know. It was refreshing. It was kind of like a take back, like a little flashback on how teenagers were in high school. Even though they pissed me off too, it was cool to see.
What did you think about the revenge mission that Ian goes on after Aaron's death?
Oh yeah. That I wish there was more to it. So I before I jump into that, I felt very bad for them because, yeah, they intervene and save Ian from like all these pieces of wood falling on him. But then all this other shit happens, and Aaron ends up getting like nail gun to the head. I don't even know how many times. But then there's a point where like Ian looks at her and like looks down because he's just like in shock, but then you hear her like crying a little bit, like her last breath, and then like he just fucking freaks out. That broke my heart because it's like, damn, you just saw like your teenage love get fucking mutilated essentially. And then with him kind of like stalking Wendy a little bit, but you see him in his van, and I thought it was going to be more to it. They show one scene where he's watching her, and then when they're at their tricentennial event thingy at the end, he just like pops up and basically says like, you caused Aaron's death, so yeah, let me just start this off and cause yours essentially. But then his death, I wanted more from that. I wish like it showed him like fucking with Wendy more, but we don't even get that. We get a few stalking scenes, no, one stalking scene, and then the ending, and then he gets crushed by, what was it, a crane or something?
Yeah, it was like a crane or a big sign that was near a crane or whatever, but yeah, he ends up getting crushed after they end up skipping enough people's deaths. Like they find out that Wendy's little sister is a part of all of this, which we haven't mentioned her. They find out through her bracelet, which when I rewatched like a YouTube recap after watching, I was like, oh, that bracelet is super noticeable. If that's like your dead grandma's bracelet that you've been arguing about, I feel like you would notice that immediately
Mhm.
when you looked at that picture. It wouldn't require that much investigating to be like, wait, my sister was on this roller coaster.
Right, we didn't have, like, Pandora bracelets out yet, so she really should have recognized that.
Yeah, it stood out in that photo pretty noticeably. And side note about the sister, I found her kind of annoying. Like there's a point like right after Wendy's boyfriend had died and she's in her room sad. She walks in and it's like, ah, nah, the bracelet, nah, nah, nah," and it's just like, oh my god, you're so unpleasant. This girl's boyfriend just died. Like, chill out. But yeah, she's in the loop. They discover way too late that she's in the loop, and that's how they end up at wherever you said they were. I had no idea where they were, actually.
They have some Tricentennial event for their town, I guess, where they were gonna have fireworks and cosplay and whatever. I hated her little sister, she was such a fucking brat, and also a nobody in here, and even her friend fucking died randomly. They just kept saying like, "Who was next to you on the roller coaster?" Because
Yeah,
she's next. I don't even remember how she died. Like,
a flag comes and just
oh
impales her and
yeah,
sticks
yeah,
right into the ground. Her
yeah.
or him, I thought it was a girl, but a YouTube video somebody said it was a him. I was like, I must not have paid close enough attention to this character.
I
Um
thought it was a girl too.
I thought it was, yeah, but yeah, they just get a flag right through them straight into the ground. It was a pretty upsetting death for, especially for a character that seemed mostly innocent. I don't even know if they said a word the whole movie.
They didn't, and that's why it's like, okay, why would they make her sister one of the victims in here? Because she's just like a background character. And then her friend, we don't even fucking know about her until the second she's about to die. So it's like that was not a vital person in here. That was just an extra body to add to this kill count.
It felt like it was there specifically for comic relief, but yeah, they're dodging all of this like crazy shit, avoiding death. At one point, Kevin gets kicked by a fucking horse when it's his turn to die, and I was like, that would kill somebody. They shouldn't have
Right.
had that in there if they wanted to make it believable. Like that horse fucking bucks him, but he falls down like a person shoved him or something.
Have you ever ridden a horse?
Yeah, not like full on ridden, but I've been horseback riding before.
It's terrifying. Well, it's terrifying for me because of
I
how
mean,
tiny I am.
being around horses in general is pretty scary to me. Those are big fucking animals, and just the fact that, yeah, they can randomly kick, and if you're just in the wrong place, I mean, that's your life, or you're just a vegetable for the rest of your life. They're scary animals, and I don't really seek them out too much, even though I do have like an appreciation for them. They're beautiful, and I'm sure it would be incredible actually getting to ride them. I also do feel really bad because they've had to endure a lot of shit because of humans. Like, they've died in wars and probably pretty awful ways. They've had to go up terrible terrain. Yeah, so horses are probably better off with one less person fucking with them.
So I know a girl who goes horseback riding with her family, and she was next to their horse in their barn, and I guess she was trying to take a selfie with it, and she said that the horse fucking bit her shoulder. And I was like,
Gee,
"Wait, what?"
that's a
And
hard bite. Have you fed a horse before?
no, because I do not wanna get my fucking hand chomped off by them. They have some big ass teeth.
Yeah, that would be terrifying. There's this movie that came out in 2017 called The Rider, directed by Chloe Zhao. She also directed Nomadland, I think. The movie, it won Best Picture a couple years ago. But The Rider, it's based on a true story. I like haven't seen it. I own it, so I might have a little details wrong. I apologize, but I want to say it's based on a true story about a guy who actually got kicked by his horse that he had a really like close bond with, and he had severe brain damage but was still able to function, just not how high he was functioning before. And they got the real guy to play himself, I want to say. Again, I apologize if I have any details wrong. This movie came out a while ago. I bought it but didn't get to watch it. But it seems like a powerful movie, and that alone, hearing the details behind that, I was like, that's when I was like, oh, I just don't. I'm gonna just avoid horses as much as I can.
I I enjoy horseback riding, but yeah, I'm a little scared of that. Random side note, sorry. But
Yeah, no, it was cool, but yeah, they're just dodging a bunch of crazy shit, and all of them avoid end up dying, all leading up to things coming back around and that sign falling on good old Ian, everybody's favorite Ian.
even his kill scene, once he's like dead, his body is still twitching and he's like flicking off the camera essentially. And it's like, okay, come on, we get it. We get the type of character he is. Didn't need to show that. He's dead. Whatever. But yeah, after his death, then it cuts to, sometime later. What's her name? Wendy is on the train with her friends, and I don't know where she's going. Is she going home? Is she going to an event? Like I don't remember where she was going. That's bad. I don't
I
remember a
think
lot of
she's
details.
going anywhere.
Sure, let's go with that.
She took the
Um
midnight train going anywhere.
Get it. Yeah, but she's starting to pick up like a few little signs. There's like a guy on the train singing the song from the first one, there's someone like what is it, watching behind you or walking behind you?
Yeah, what the fuck is that song? And man, Death, come on, Death. Like, seriously, you're changing the radio? You're communicating like Bumblebee now? Or is that God that's doing that? Who knows? Was that guy on the train God or the devil? Is that God warning her or the devil telling her he's after her?
Let's call him a little demon because he's even like getting off the train and he looks at Wendy. He gives her like a weird little look like, okay, was that supposed to be a flirtatious look or a look like, oh, you're gonna die? This is why I'm singing that song. Like, Death, you can pick a different theme song. Does not have to be this one. But yeah, she wants to get off the train at that point, and then her sister pops up getting on the train, so it kind of just distracts her. And, she's telling her
And where
sister,
was she going, Mercedes?
I think I literally just watched the ending because I wanted to see what happened again. It sounded
I
like
think she was
she
going anywhere. She
I
took the
walked right into
midnight train
that.
going
But
anywhere.
yeah, so her and Julie are talking, and Wendy's telling her, like, I just had a feeling again, like that night. And she's like, no, me, you, and Kevin, we got around it, we escaped, we made it. So until something happens to me and then Kevin, you're basically good. But then she sees Kevin and she's
And where
like,
was Kevin going?
I don't know, Nick, where was he going?
I think he said he was going back home, right? I wanna
I knew
say
you were gonna
that's
pull
what
some
he
shit.
said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's correct. He had a destination.
Final destination.
Ooh, end the episode here. Cut, just leave it here.
We've been morbid
Mic drop.
curiosities. I know, right?
Right as yeah. Alright, go on.
But yeah, like you hear Tony Todd's voice on the intercom. He's saying, the whatever stop, the last stop is the end of the line. I fucking love Tony Todd's voice. But yeah, they start to pick up like, oh shit, stuff's happening. The train starts like fucking ricocheting or whatever off the tracks. And then I don't know like how this ended up, but I think like a piece of the train like tore off or something, and like Julie was sucked out. I just remember her body was like bloody. And then Kevin, he like falls on a broken window and then he flies out. So both of them are dead. So you're like, fuck, well, Wendy's gonna be next. Like, train crashes, everyone's dead. She's like on the tracks with a fucking broken leg, and then is looking at everyone dead on the ground. Just imagine what you would be going through. You're like the last one alive and you're about to die, and you are just there looking at all these dead bodies. And then a train comes and then you're dead. But you're not dead because it was a premonition.
I would feel kind of okay until I saw the train coming. I'd be like, "Fuck, this sucks so much more."
Yeah, what a way to go. But yeah, at that point, they're just like, oh shit, it's happening again. They're all trying to get out, but you see the lights flickering. They just kind of focus in on Wendy's face, and then the scene cuts to black. And that was the end. So I guess all three of them died. Well, everyone on there died. But what did you think of the ending scene? Because I wasn't satisfied.
Oh, really? Damn. I thought the ending was pretty great. I liked the subway derailing a lot. I thought it was pretty well done. But mostly I like the comedy of them all just ending up on the subway together. It's like, okay, she made it home. She got it. She beat death. And then just one by one, each character showing up, I thought was pretty great. I'm like, okay, now Kevin has to show up and he's just there. But what really did it for me is that cut to black, Mary Elizabeth Winstead looking out the subway window. It's got like a blue tint, cut to black, and then you hear the crash sounds. I thought that was pretty effective. And I mean, if you're going to end on a final shot, let it be Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She's, I mean, an incredible actress, and give her that attention, spotlight her, because she elevated this movie more than I think any of the other actors have really elevated the previous movies.
Yeah, maybe that's another reason why I like this film too, because I like her in here. Her character isn't like wow the greatest character like in the whole series, but so far she kind of is. And yeah, she does like exceed like the job everyone else did in here. I don't know. I kind of wish the ending scene lasted a little longer or gave us a little bit more, but on to the next one.
And it's that kind of enthusiasm that we're gonna end on. No, I'm kidding. On to
Why
the
are
next
you
one, I
ripping
guess.
on me on this episode? Like, what the fuck?
I know how the tables have turned, and I
I'll
really
get
got a
my
good one.
revenge.
The listener, we weren't even recording. It wasn't even a dig at you, but we had a little bit of a technical error. Friend and I got a little bit of a joke in up top.
Why do you gotta live in the past, Nick? Like, why do you have to point out all my flaws, all my insecurities? Why are you being such a guy?
Oh man, it wasn't planned, but you know, I think it worked out well.
I'll get my revenge on you. I will.
Just like death coming for these teenagers, because we all know death just fucking hates teenagers and their reckless abandon and their youth. But just like death and those teenagers, you're gonna come for me.
Yeah, you won't even see me coming, but it'll happen. And then you'll regret this.
Hopefully. well,
Shut up.
well, guys, that's it. That's Final Destination 3. The beloved Final Destination 3, the last one they ever made, I think. The end of the trilogy. It's been a fun run. Our next season is, I think, Boo a Medea Halloween. I think that's our next season.
If we were on the phone, I would have hung up on you. I really would.
We'll get it in there. I mean, hell, we got scary movies on the list. We could cover the Boo Medea movies. Medea Boo a Halloween 2. I don't know the order of those words, but I think those are all the words in the name of the movie.
Any final thoughts on Final Destination 3 before we wrap up, Nicholas?
I thought it was a good one. I had fun with this. I didn't know how I would feel. I thought most of the season I would be pretty critical of these movies. I thought I might be kind of a drag, but I've been having fun. These are easy watches. They're pretty nice. And yeah, I had a good time with this one. They've been getting better as they go. And I'm really excited to hear what you have to say about The Final Destination.
Oh, is that the next one? What it's called? The Final Destination?
The Final It's the final one.
Oh, fuck. Okay, I'm excited. I'm excited to see if this is the sucky one or not. So we'll see. Stay tuned, guys.
Yeah, make sure you guys follow us on Instagram at morbid_curiosities pod. Rate and review us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify. And, even rate us 1 star if you want. But if you're going to rate us 1 star, at least leave a review so we can have something to grow from. We've gotten a good amount of 5 stars in the past couple of weeks, but someone left us a 1 star review without a review, and it's just like, guys, if you're gonna do that, at least have some feedback so we can grow as a podcast. It's not really gonna do anybody any good just to tank the reviews, so I'll go out on that note. Rate us 5 stars, rate us 1 star, give us some feedback.
We've been Morbid Curiosities.
Yeah.